So yeah, I'm driving on heroin, which again to me was just like existing, and these cops, like 3 cop car, pull us over, and I'm like, I like get right out. I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, were you guys just getting high? And I'm like, yeah. I was just so confused by this.
I didn't kill anyone.
3 junk. We're not selling the heroin.
Obviously, we got high.
Dude, we're 3 little junkies from the county.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
Yeah, let's keep it light.
Let's keep it light in the beginning.
My grandfather's funeral was yesterday.
Jesus Christ.
How was that?
It was good. It's interesting because, well, they're interesting, right?
They are interesting.
You know?
They're, can be sad, can be really fucking boring, which is why I hate them so much.
Yeah.
It's
like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like a perfect, yesterday anyway, not all of them, but it seemed to be a perfect mix of like sad, heavy, yet light, happy,
slightly
celebration
of life.
Exactly. I mean, he was 88, so he did it a lot, He did the life thing for a while. And he was a Marine, so they had these Marines come in and like do a salute and
That's
shit.
cool.
Yeah, honestly, dude, I was fine emotionally, didn't really cry or anything until they saluted my grandmother. Oh my God, it ripped my heart out.
Yeah, I've never seen you cry either.
Yeah.
It's on my bucket list.
Oh, that won't be much. Yeah.
I've never seen you cry.
I'll cry this episode. It doesn't take much. I'm pretty tapped into my emotions.
Yeah, on the show, multiple times you've asked people, like, what's their first memory? It comes up a couple of different episodes on here, and mine is actually the day that my grandfather died. So it was April 17th, 1994, and I was 4 years old. But that is the first real, fully vivid memory that I can remember from the time waking up all the way through the day till going to sleep, basically. Like, before that, there's, glimpses of memories, like me hanging out with my grandfather, eating black licorice or playing in his garden. But that day was my very first real memory that I can recall.
Yeah, death will stick with you.
Yeah. Especially as a young kid. Like, that was the first death. We never had a pet or anything that I watched die first, or like the first death that I dealt with was my grandfather. And because him and my grandmother lived right next to us, I was there every day. Like, it wasn't like a grandfather that you see on holidays. It was one that I saw every single day of my life up until that point. And then trying to grasp the idea, because like I remember going through the day and everyone's crying and it's sad, and I was just kind of like numb to all of it. And then probably 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, like it just bricks fell on top of me, and I remember crying the rest of the night from that point forwards. But yeah, that's
grief's a weird thing, man. Grief's weird. My nieces were asking my sister a bunch of questions about it. They're like 9 or something. I don't know, maybe 8, maybe 7, maybe 10.
Your nieces,
Uncle of the year. But they were asking all kinds of questions about it, and they were asking her, like, have you cried? And she's like, no, not yet.
Mm-hmm.
But, I very well could, and if I don't, that's also okay.
Yeah.
Because one of my nieces was saying that she didn't really feel super sad, and she felt guilty about that in a way. And it's like, well, that's a really human thing to feel, where it's like, maybe she wasn't as attached to him. I mean, he was old, her whole life. And he's been old as long as I've known him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're 88, you're fucking old, but I had to give a speech. My mom asked me to do like a speech. And that was fucking nerve-wracking, because then the whole time I'm there, instead of like grieving or sitting in the moment, I'm just like on pins and needles, like, damn, I have to do a speech. I'm
anxious the whole time.
Man,
like,
I'm the only one she asked to do it.
You can't have like alcohol to ease it up a little bit before you give your speech.
Fuck, I can't. I can
She
do whatever
only
I want.
asked you?
The only one. None of the kids
Why?
spoke. Because she thinks I'm a good
Your sister's
talker.
very articulate. She not have a good relationship.
Yeah, she
with
should
her?
have asked your sister. She is very articulate.
Almost more than. Never mind.
I mean, clearly you both are saying she should have had the job over me. I didn't volunteer. I was elected. You have to talk to Sheila about that.
I will.
Yeah,
have her on. I've got questions.
Yeah, make sure.
Yeah,
you
I think
do.
you should have her back on too. I think
I'd
that
love
was
to.
a good episode, and I think you guys kind of barely scratched the surface of a lot of the conversations that you were having and stuff like that. So yeah, I think she'd be another,
Yeah, it'd be nice to talk to her about her parents, honestly, because my grandmother has like dementia, so my mom's having to re-explain to her that her husband's dead over and over.
Yeah,
and that's
gotta
like
be miserable.
It is, but she's also at a level of confused that's almost helpful to us, right? So even at the fucking at the funeral, when they like do the flag, they like unfold it and then refold it, and then they hand it to her. When they're handing it to her, she's like, "For me." Like she doesn't understand that ever. She's like, I'm just happy to see everyone, but she doesn't know why the fuck she's seeing everyone.
Yeah, which from like your point of view probably makes it a little harder in that time.
Yeah.
Like you said, overall it makes things probably easier
Right.
to handle things, but at that time when like you're, he's in the casket, you're doing the viewing.
Luckily, there was no viewing.
Okay, so just straight to the funeral,
Straight
put him in the ground.
They burnt him up.
Okay.
They cremated him right away, and luckily, there was no viewing. There was just like, a slideshow,
Okay.
which I'd much prefer over the cold dead body with makeup and full of fucking chemicals.
It's weird.
It is
They
so
never
weird.
make them look
You can't.
good.
You
No,
can't.
you can't. You can't. You're right.
And don't make the mistake of touching them. I touched my dad.
It's freezing cold.
It's just so
and just,
cold and hard, bro. I'm
Mhm.
like, ew, that is not my dad.
Yep.
We also I feel like make memories with the last thing or last time we see or
Yeah.
are with someone, and like, why would you want that for anyone? It doesn't make sense to me. Burn them up always.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, also funerals graveyards are interesting because on a long enough timeline, the whole earth will be covered in graveyards if we keep doing graveyards.
Right.
Correct.
That's
That's why
the
it's a
thing.
great investment. To buy one.
Shouldn't be
Right.
allowed.
You're always
though.
gonna need it.
They don't pay property taxes on them. How's it
Really?
work? Well, I don't. Well, look, they're dead. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. How's it work? Like you buy a house, right? You owe property tax for the rest of your life, for the rest of time.
Whoever owns the graveyard has to pay it.
Yeah, but do they?
Yeah.
Like, it's
Oh,
not
I'm
like
sure
you're
they have to.
fucking.
It is a business.
So,
I mean,
like,
to
seven-
put someone in the ground's like
$7,000 or
$20,000
something.
bucks.
Business.
I think it's a little less than that, but it depends on where you get it
Depend-
done.
and the
Sure.
casket too.
But like, take any place ever, and like, eventually, the property taxes over the years are going to outweigh the people are dead. They don't pay again.
Well, I mean, they
It makes
could
no sense.
technically reuse the hole and no one would know.
That's the thing. After 100
You know?
years, the loved ones don't come anymore. It's like, okay, we know. Like,
We
we
get-
keep a camera on all of them. It's like after 50 years, if you don't visit, sorry.
Yeah, like I visit my grandmom's graves once a year. Every single year, June 18th is the day that she died, and I go up to visit her. It's right off of Ritchie Highway, so it's not far. Get a pack of Virginia Slims because that's what she smoked, and I literally sit down. I light her a cigarette, put it on the gravestone. I light one of my cigarettes, and then I kind of give like the year-long update of what happened. And I don't know, it's probably stupid.
To
but, like,
her?
to her, yeah.
Verbally?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like I'll actually sit there and actually like talk it out. Like, like this year, me and Caroline had our second child. We had another boy. His name's
Interesting.
Barrett. And I'll give
And
her.
are you're doing that believing she's hearing you?
I don't know because I don't really believe in an afterlife. I'm more of a reincarnation guy. But it does make me feel a connection to her during that period.
I get that.
And that
The
to me is
sentiment of
more than enough because it's been. She died
1 week since
when
you looked at
I
me.
was in 11th grade, so it's been a while. So like to have that once a year, where like I
Yeah,
still
any
feel
tradition is
connected
good,
to her.
probably.
And my grandfather's right next to her too, so I guess I'm technically doing it for both. But being that I was 4 when he died, I, don't have as much to like connection with him
Yeah.
versus my grandmother was.
Yeah, that's the thing. So when my mom asked me to write this speech about my grandfather, it's when I immediately realized I do not know this guy.
Mhm.
Like I've known this guy for 35 years. I don't know a fucking thing about this guy. Like, and you had said, I thought we talked about this on the last podcast actually. But
Simple, there's
yeah,
not a lot
they're
to
pretty
them.
simple. There's not a whole lot to them. But I got to use that in the speech instead of like making up a memory or lying. I was like, look, I don't have a bunch of memories that pop out, but what I can talk about is his presence,
Mhm.
and he was just there. No matter what, that motherfucker was there.
Yep.
And that's how he loved people to show up.
Yeah.
So I got to just make that the speech. I threw a memento mori in there, talked a little bit about
I know
that.
you love it.
I talked about you all you motherfuckers might die. Basically on some like I told one little quick story about the last Thanksgiving we had with him because of how fucked up it was and
yeah,
shit.
the story that you gave on the podcast.
Yeah, and just how basically I said it was his last Thanksgiving, and I said, but the thing is, it could be my last Thanksgiving. It could be your last Thanksgiving. Like we don't know, so let's use it as blah 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 blah. But
It's true though.
Yeah,
You know?
of course. I mean, you're right. I'm not gonna get up there and lie or like bullshit. So tried to crack a couple jokes, lighten the mood a bit. But that was my first time speaking at a funeral. Check that off the list.
I don't want to ever do that.
No.
Not ever.
Do you have a will?
Do I have a will? No, not yet.
You?
Basically everything that I
You're
own, I
leaving.
have
Well,
my wife as my beneficiary.
But
so
here's
it
the
don't
thing.
matter.
So someone was asking me like, do you want to be cremated or get buried? And I go, I don't care. And they're like, well, you have to pick one. I'm like, no, I don't. And
I'll be
like,
dead.
Yeah, I really genuinely feel that way though. They're like, excuse me. They're like, you're gonna put that whoever's left that decision on them. I go, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, let them figure it out. I don't care.
Yep.
And then I'm like, I guess because I don't really agree with the whole graveyard thing because of space and stuff, that I think just cremate it. But I really don't mind either way.
Yeah, I personally want to be rich enough to have a mausoleum for my family. I don't think it's that far.
Eddie-ass thing to say,
It is,
bro.
but that's truly
Fucking
what I want is a mausoleum,
which
for my
is like the
family.
above ground grave, right?
Yeah,
it's
like a little
crypt.
temple. Yeah, a crypt, a temple.
You get some gargoyles on that bitch.
It's
Yeah.
look at me for the dead people.
Don't
Yeah.
stop looking
I
at
mean-
me. I may be dead, but the ego shall
But
continue.
you can then also put your whole family in there for many years with
Yeah.
less space
That's
if they
not
decide to get
selling it for
cremated.
me.
Yeah.
The other option that I like for like if my parents were to die is you can
Well,
take
they're gonna.
eventually. Yeah, you're right.
the
They're
if
gonna.
thing.
Yeah,
Is,
they're gonna
Yeah.
take
you hit them with the when. I know it's tough. It's tough. It's tough for us,
But
but
you
you
can
know we
be-
got to talk about it as it is.
You can be cremated and then they can pressurize your ashes into a diamond. And I really like that idea, so that way I could wear like an earring.
But the whole thing about the
just my
diamond,
mom.
the whole reason people wear diamonds is because they're blood diamonds. If there's no slave labor, is it really a diamond?
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it could make for a nice hand-me-down or something.
If I get
you know?
cremated, I would love I want to put it in my will for someone to snort or smoke my ashes.
I'll smoke them. Well, we'll use it as fertilizer for the plant, like the one Stoner movie.
How high?
Yeah.
They didn't. I don't think they used it as fertilizer. I think they straight rolled it.
Did they straight roll
Did
it?
they? Can you speak on this? How high reference?
No, I don't like Hi. It's not,
No.
it's a subpar
too black for
pop
Mike C.
movie.
Yeah.
Half Baked is the superior movie.
Sure.
How High is just not a good movie.
But yeah, I thought that they put it in the dirt when they were growing. the
Maybe they
plant.
did. Can leave a comment. We need the engagement. If you like the episode, leave a comment. If you don't like it, leave a comment. If they put the ashes in the dirt, say Justin's an idiot. If they put the ashes in the joint, say Eddie's an idiot.
Also, just for
Yeah.
fun, Half Baked or How High? Just throw it out there. I need to know.
Because Mike needs to make things a competition, and he's with the dog-eat-dog world in this capitalist
Nah, dog,
society.
some
He
shit's
has
better
to-
than other shit. There's levels to everything.
See, I
And
like
I just
How
wanna
High
see-
more than.
Well,
I like.
watch them both in
they're-
succession.
They're definitely different lanes.
And I guarantee you,
And
you'll
it's,
change your
it's-
mind.
It's also been
I'm with
probably
you.
a decade since
Oh,
I've
I
watched
promise
them.
when you go back, you'll be like, wow, this movie's not good.
I feel like that for both. no?
Whereas, oh, dude, no. Half Baked holds up
Really?
fucking heavy. No, it's so good. Dude,
Ooh.
it's so good.
I haven't seen it in 15
Oh
years.
my
Yeah,
God,
I need to
dude.
go back and
But
watch.
dude,
I
I
would
used
love
to
to
watch
just
them so
throw
much.
references, but it's just like they're just not gonna hit. So it's like,
Yeah. Good movie though.
Yeah.
dude, the best.
So what you got going on this weekend?
I'm going to Maine, dude. I'm going up to Maine to go snowmobiling.
Oh yeah, you and Chris, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
You'll have a
skiing.
good time.
I hope so. I've never been on one,
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Similar to a jet ski, you know,
but more dangerous.
they're more dangerous. They'll
That's
roll.
exciting.
But yeah, I mean, danger makes everything exciting. But it's
Mhm.
just gonna be fun anyway. Like anytime you're outside doing activities like that is just it's a good time.
Yeah.
You know, 4-wheeler, snowmobile,
Yeah.
Jeep crawling, whatever it is. Like it's just
11-hour drive is gonna
It's
be a bitch, but
yeah, that'll be a little rough, but you'll
Mhm.
suck it up. You got Chris to keep you entertained.
yeah. Well, there's like 6 people going. I
Oh
think.
shit!
Um,
And then you're skiing too,
yeah, we're gonna go snowmobiling one day, skiing and snowboarding the next day.
skiing and snowboarding. So what are
Well,
you? gonna-
I'm skiing.
okay.
I've tried snowboarding once, and I displaced my AC joint
Yeah, I know a lot of
in
people
like
that've
30
gotten
minutes.
hurt snowboarding. I've been snowboarding 3
They're
times.
both super dangerous, dude. Flying down a snowy hill at 35 is just dumb.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be a lot of pizza in for me. You know, pizza, French fry. I'm gonna be pizza in for a lot of the day.
Yeah,
You know.
but that'll be still fun.
Yeah. Have you been? You like it?
I've never been skiing. I've been snowboarding. Had a blast the 3 times I went. It was actually with my wife. It was with her sister before she was my wife or girlfriend or anything. So it's kind of funny, full circle thing right there. But yeah, she used to snowboard all the time. Like they were like she was a weekend snowboarder type of thing. So she took me up and like. You know, would help me down the mountain the first time, and then every time you go down, you're a little bit better, less falling.
Yeah.
You know, I found the key was learning how to fall properly.
They
You
call me
know.
Bunny Hill Anderson.
You stick on the bunny.
You need
Well,
me.
She told
I'll
me
be at
that
the
the bunny
lodge
hill's
having
the
hot
worst
chocolate.
because so many people use it. The ice is compact. It's almost like ice.
And it's also too flat to even get you some momentum.
Correct.
That is another thing.
That's why she didn't let me go on the bunny at all.
Oh, yeah.
We went right up.
Right
got
for the
on
double black diamond.
Yeah. You know, getting off the ski lift was tricky too for me the first time. It fell right on my face.
Getting off the ski lift is just. I'd love to work there just to sit at the ski lift and watch people just wreck over and over.
I've seen some videos too where like the ski lift will break and start sending them faster. And like people get whipped off the side.
I've seen those videos.
Yeah, me and you, I think our algorithms are pretty close because like some of the videos that you talk about on here, like the guy getting his arm sliced open. Like,
did you get to see that?
Yeah, I saw that before. Okay. It was on
a good
podcast. There's tons of good ones.
Oh, I know.
I watch them.
I've seen every one. Yeah. Someone leaks out. I've seen it.
Yeah,
it's pretty fucked up.
Yep.
Like just watching death over and over.
Oh yeah, I watched one yesterday that was
the two guys at Walmart.
No,
or Amazon.
Okay. This was a girl that beat her father over the head with a frying pan until his skull was smashed in.
Damn.
Because he raped her and her mom.
Damn.
So it's like kind of justified, but like, I mean, watching someone getting their skull bashed in with a frying
sound
pan.
Too. I'm sure.
And it was a cast iron.
Yeah.
So like it was
sturdy.
It was real sturdy.
You don't want one of them dollar store frying pans.
No, none of that aluminum
murder.
shit.
Yeah.
You know, like old school meant
you need
to
a
last.
murder weapon. Yeah.
It was pretty brutal. But yeah, I get a lot of there's like banned videos on my Instagram algorithm, which I'm fine with.
Yeah,
you
need that. You need the banned vids.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I did have my niece tell me that I'm funny 40% of the time, which is pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Because I was talking about how I was funny. She's like, "You're not funny." I'm like, "You cannot honestly say I'm not funny." And she's like, 40% of the time. I was like, thank you.
Yeah, that's not bad.
We'll get those numbers up.
Yeah.
And the older you get, the funnier I'm going to get is the thing. Because she's not getting a lot of the jokes is the thing.
Well, yeah,
that's what
I'm sure
I tell myself
for you,
anyway.
They're way over her head.
Yeah, that's what I tell myself anyway.
Yeah, I'm happy because as a father, you can make really shitty jokes.
Yeah, you have a shoe in. You're allowed to
and
just
you're
make
like,
the worst
it's a
jokes.
dad joke.
Yeah, I came in someone.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to not be funny.
Exactly. And I do them all the time. We actually have like a little button. Like, you remember the Staples
That's what she
ones?
said?
Well, this was all dad jokes.
Oh, okay. Because
like
I've seen that's
cheesy.
What she said button.
Yeah, but it's all just shitty dad jokes. And then I'll hit it, and then EJ will hit it. And we just start laughing at each other.
You heard the one the guy goes to the doctor? And the doctor says, I got bad news and I got worse news. And he said, what do you want to hear first? And the guy says, give me the bad news. He says, the bad news is you have 24 hours to live. He says, well, what could be worse than that? He goes, I couldn't get a hold of you yesterday. That's a pretty good, clean joke right there. That's fun.
Clean one.
That's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on with you, dude? What are you doing? What's up with you? Raising kids?
Raising kids. Got
fun.
2 of them now. Like I was telling Mike C before this, having 2 at 2-year intervals. So, the first one was born 2 years ago in November, and then we had this one in December. So they're 2 years, 1 month apart. I would recommend waiting for a 3-year gap or
if
no
you waited
gap.
3, you'd have probably been like, I recommend 4.
I don't know, because
I didn't recommend.
the thing
you know
is
what I mean? Like whatever it was, I
the
wouldn't
2-year-old
recommend.
isn't old enough yet to understand to be
why you're hitting
gentle
the
around the baby
Yeah.
and why we got to feed him and mom's got to hold him more and all that stuff. Versus if he was 3, I think he'd understand it a little more. Or if you pull it back and go like one right after the other, he's too small to become
or they're in
an
the
issue.
same bracket, really. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's been interesting. They're, good days, bad days. Babies, I think more from like a guy's point of view than the women's. It's like they're cool, but it's really like when they turn 2-ish.
They're cool, but how do I word this?
Like,
I
as
want
a
to
baby,
smash his head against a wall.
There's nothing to the baby yet at this point.
No, they're little.
You might get a little
machines.
smile versus like EJ's got a personality kind of
Sure.
emerging, and he can be a lot of fun. Like, so we'll go bath times at 7:30, and I'll be like, "All right, EJ, it's time for bath," and he might be playing with his toys or whatever, and he'll go, "No." No bath.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, no. So I'll pick him up and I'll like throw him over my shoulder and we'll go up the stairs. And as we're going up the stairs, he's like, help, mama, help.
Yeah.
And like little things that that make it really enjoyable.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting to me about kids? Not in a nefarious way, but all they do is manipulate.
Like, they're always testing their boundaries.
That's because they don't know the world. So
Correct.
Their way of fucking with the world is like, what can I tweak in myself or in my environment to make things happen? So like Rich was one here, and it was actually after we stopped recording, he was talking about how his kid will be with him, playing, chilling, doing whatever, and then he'll even just see the mom walk by over there and start crying. because he wants to get picked up by the mom. You know what I mean? Like they just start. That's what they do. Kids manipulate so hard.
Yeah,
and some parents are blind to it, because they're just like, and it's like they're not being bad.
No, they're
learning how to
world.
be a human being in the world, and it's like it's just really cool to see their brains work.
Yeah. Yeah, so like the 2-year-old, once they get to 2, I feel like it starts to get fun. Before that, like, the 2-month-old that I have now, it's like almost like taking care of a baby doll that could actually die.
Yeah.
Because like he sleeps, he shits,
cries,
he eats,
drools.
he cries.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Yep.
Every once in a while you get a little smile or grin out of him. And I don't think he realizes that he's doing it. Yeah. So it's just like, as a man, because I didn't grow the baby.
They laugh before they talk, which is interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. I've never really thought about that. But
it's
it
like,
is true.
I wonder where that's coming from, because it's not even like they're getting, jokes. It's just like something makes them feel funny, I guess.
Yeah, or even so, like, this is kind of guy stuff, but like, if you fart around EJ, ever since he was little, he would just start laughing at farts.
It's one of those things that's inherent in us as humans, like being afraid of snakes.
Yeah,
thinking farts are funny.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but he is just. Every time he farts or he farts,
it's like epigenetics, Like there's certain things within us that were
passed down,
passed down through DNA.
Yeah.
Some people have the theory that DNA is the superior life form.
Really?
Like the actual intelligence is the DNA. That's why it's decoding everything and passing information throughout.
See, I think it's just the code. I don't think it's the thing personally.
Right. Yeah, the computer code.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Correct, for our simulation that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're big simulations.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's very plausible. I really hope that we're not in a simulation or like
not
a
plausible
matrix.
would be a crazy take.
Correct.
To say that I don't agree with it, I don't think so, that's fine. I'll accept that. I will not accept someone telling me it's not plausible.
Yeah.
Because it's like, show me how. It's not. Because the smartest people in the world, in my estimation, agree that it's extremely plausible.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, too.
Yeah.
Even like I think the Mandela effect plays into that a little bit. Like they change something in the simulation, and that causes the Mandela effect stuff.
Yeah, I wonder why they're changing it.
Some people say it's so they're getting people used to having like disinformation and stuff like that. I don't think it's that large of a.
It's
psyop.
interesting about the conspiracy stuff like that. Like I had this girl, shout out Stephanie. She like invited me to this group, and it was like glitches in the simulation, Mandela effect, and something else. And it's like my sensibilities are so specific that like I got on that page and I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers. They're like, why are the clocks always looking at me? It's just
too
like
crazy.
Yeah. There's like, I'm crazy, but there's like a line.
Oh yeah, like I love my conspiracies, as you know, and there are some that I fully believe in, but I'm not that far off the.
So who's burning California to the ground?
Well, so the whole thing with California now is.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, I'm glad you
Inside
did
job
ask.
or terrorism? Go.
It's basically the same thing that happened to Maui. If you remember that, what was it, a year ago or so? So L.A. has pledged to build a smart city by 2028. As you know, L.A. doesn't have much land. So how do you get land to build a smart city? You use climate control by the government to start the fire, or possibly even direct lasers. The direct energy guns that they have.
Yeah, that's what got Maui allegedly. It was the direct
and that's
laser
why the
beams,
blue cars
lasers
and stuff didn't get touched, because blue lights and lasers don't go together.
So Blue Man Group's safe.
They're safe.
No matter where they're at.
Yeah. So the LA thing is basically the government doing that to wipe out the place so they can then start rebuilding in this new smart city that they've pledged to do by 2028. I don't actually believe any of that shit. I think this was a wildfire / arsonist situation.
Well, this is the problem. Is
and then
nothing that can actually just happen. No one can accept that.
Yeah.
No one can accept, like, maybe this did just happen. No one can accept it. It's just like, dude, I seen someone say, like, why is all Diddy and Epstein's people burning up in this fire? And then the same guy posted the next day a picture of Diddy's mansion on fire. And he's like, don't say I told you so. I Googled it, and it's like, this is a fake picture. It took one search, bro.
Yep.
It took me less than 9 seconds to search the shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's posting this on his Facebook, like, not only like he just did it on a whim, he's been talking about it for 2 days.
Of course.
And then he's like, I told you so. And it's like, bro, and the people in his comments are like, yeah, these sheep will never wake up. And it's like, bro, you can literally Google it.
Yeah, so like the big thing for me for the conspiracies comes to money. And this one, the insurance companies aren't making out money-wise. So if there's no money to be gained, I don't see it
No money to be gained from them.
Yeah, and I mean, insurance companies are like
money to be gained from someone, probably.
I doubt it. So yeah,
someone's
gonna
make money on it for sure.
Well, the rebuilding, I guess, construction company, especially if they do build this smart city.
It's like going to war and then selling war the guns, right? Setting shit on fire and then selling them the fix. You know what I mean? Create a problem and then sell the answer, sell the solution.
Of course.
So who knows? I also tend to believe Occam's razor, least reaches you have to do. Most likely is the
probably way to go. Yeah. There's some of them that I like I said, I fully believe in conspiracy wise, and then there's other ones that I like to just play with the idea because it's funny.
Did you hear Biederman's episode? He was like
the flat Earth and the firmament. I can't get it.
Well, what kills me is like
hollow Earth.
What gets me about Biederman is he's just like, that's my take. I'm like, in what way? He's like, I don't know, man. Look it up.
Yeah, and it's like I saw this TikTok. It's tell me,
and he literally admits it. He's like, I don't look into it really, but that's what they're saying. Look it up. I'm like, bro, amazing. I love how that's your actual take. And he's like, this is what I believe. And I'm like, why do you believe that? He's like, I don't know, man. I heard some kid say.
At least I do my research on whatever ones I believe in.
I mean, look, I'm not going through scientific papers, you know what I mean, and doing notations, but I'm a Google search if Diddy's house is on fire before I post it on the fucking internet.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, and I've been around the world enough in airplanes to see curvature of the Earth.
Quit bragging.
To know we're not on a flat plane of existence with the nice wall that circles us. So yeah.
Did you see Zuckerberg say he was going to lift up, let people do more free speech? You didn't see this?
So I listened to him on Rogan.
Okay, so
week.
So you know.
Yeah.
He did that big PR announcement where he's like, look, we've way overstepped with our fact checkers and our algorithms, and we need to back it up.
Yeah.
And I just think it's interesting. I don't know if it's because Trump's about to be in office.
Well, duh.
I mean, I'm sure that has something to do with it. Also, Zuck has gotten a good PR team behind him. Hence his style change. I mean, all of it.
Yeah.
He slowly unnerded himself, and it's interesting to watch because I watched some of that podcast too. I'm interested. Look, whether you like Rogan or Zuck, it's one of the biggest and most important social media companies, right, in America, therefore the world.
Yeah.
And I want to hear what's going on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Did you listen to the whole thing?
No, I got like 2 hours into it.
Did you hear Joe dragging him about his bow hunting?
No.
Oh my God, dude. Joe's just such a fucking ape. Zuck's talking about how he does archery sometimes or does some hunting or whatever. And then Joe's like, oh, do you release it like this or like that? And he's like, well, I think I do it like this. He's like, see, that's the problem. People like you don't know. You got to get this type of, and he's just
Rogan
like.
can be like that sometimes.
Oh my God.
I've watched so much of them where it's like, sometimes it's just like, dude, just shut up for a minute. Like.
Yeah, just shut the fuck up for a minute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get you're an expert in mixed martial arts, you're an expert in bow hunting.
That's what's nice about not being an expert in anything is I can't be too overbearing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I have no idea.
And he can sometimes. And then sometimes I also feel like he doesn't understand what his guest is trying to say, and he'll hop in and then it just gets real murky and stuff. But, I mean, he's still the number one podcaster in the world.
Yeah.
Unless you ask the one Paul brother. Was it Logan that's got the podcast?
Why is he bigger?
He says that he's bigger.
Gotcha.
He's not by actual numbers, but
right.
He says that he's the biggest podcast in the world, but he's not. Yeah, and then I'm excited for this weekend. I'm gonna go get a tattoo that I have no idea what I'm getting yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so me, Tibbs' wife, and then my wife, we're gonna go to Diamond Dagger and do the gumball.
Okay,
machine.
a little random
chance. Yeah, get a nice little tattoo. I've been
on your face.
Nah,
come on.
I kind of want a face tattoo, but the wife has said, and it's probably for the smartest, no face, no neck, no hands.
Yeah,
which I get. If I hit the Mega Millions, maybe I can change some of those, get my hands done or something. But
if you hit the Mega Millions, you can do whatever you want, buddy.
Yeah. So hopefully I get something good out of this gumball machine for the tattoo. But for me, it's more like just getting that itch a little bit because I've been wanting another big piece, and with the 2 kids and the time, I don't have really the money and all to invest in a large tattoo piece by a world-class artist, because that's what I like to do.
Right.
I'll fly out of town, get it all done.
I have my take on tattoos is like, I'm sure I've said it on here 100 times, but like I want my legs done, and someone asked me recently, like, what do you want to get done? And I'm like, I don't care. Just like cover me in tattoos. You know, like obviously I want them to be good and I want them to mean something to me, but I don't have my whole legs planned out. But I want them covered in ink. Yeah. I know that much aesthetically.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I'm shallow, right? Enough. I mean, everyone is, but I admit that I am enough to where it's like, you know, I'd like to look good because people will get tattoos on them that to me just don't look good, but they're like they mean a lot to them or whatever, and it's like
it means
it's
a
gotta
lot
be
or
a
not. Like dude, there's so many people that I see that post pictures of their tattoo and they're like, look how amazing, and I'm like, was there an earthquake in the middle of this thing? There isn't a single straight fucking line. Color's not punched in. A shitty design, whatever it may be.
All of the above, perhaps.
There's one person I follow on Facebook that is a tattoo artist, and he'll post, you know, his stuff that he did, and he's like, look how good this tattoo, and I'm just like, dude,
that
you
kills
couldn't
me.
pay
that
me.
That kills me. When he's probably been doing it 10 years.
Or longer.
That's
probably
what kills me. So
and
I have people like that too on my
horrible.
friends list where it's like they're the artists, right? They've been doing it and working at a shop for 10, 15 years. And I see them post and I'm like, what? It's not good.
Yeah, horrible.
And people keep going and getting in the chair because I don't know what the
this
deal
person
is.
always posts like, hey, you know, got openings. So it's just
like,
no offense
shit.
if you got openings. Like, I don't really want you most of the time.
I mean, openings happen. But
from time to time.
Yeah.
But like for the most part,
yeah,
if you're open all the time.
By the way, I'm open from now until forever.
Yeah, like every week they post I'm open. It's no, thank you.
Right,
you know,
right,
but
right.
I'm smart enough not to comment on those ones. But yeah, eventually I really want to get my whole back done. I want a back sleeve, basically. It's not really a sleeve, but my whole back, one large piece of art. That's my goal. But I'd imagine something like that's probably going to cost me $10,000 to $15,000. And I don't really have the $10,000 to $15,000 extra to spend right now. So in the time being, I'll go get this little tiny tattoo.
It sucks too. The older you get, not only do you have more responsibilities, but you also just have more awareness of like what you can do with 10 to 15 grand, rather than have it do nothing for your life financially. Other than
that's almost a whole year's worth of mortgage.
Right.
you know, if you put it like that, it's like I could go get needled for 40 hours, or I can pay my mortgage for the rest
for my children.
Yeah, you know, so. But I'm definitely going to do it eventually. I'm not 100% sure on what I want. I'm kind of between two different ideas. One of them is a scene of like Zeus battling Loki. I know they're two different gods from mythologies, but they're also the names of my dogs. Zeus is the one that passed away. Loki's the other one. And I think from a concept, that could make a really cool back piece.
Oh, sure.
And then the other one is a Japanese samurai doing seppuku.
Oh, that'd be tight.
Yeah, I've loved that art or that ritual since I first learned about it in probably fifth grade.
And how could you not? Especially when you learn about it young.
Yeah,
and you're like, this is the coolest shit I've ever heard about.
Yeah.
I want to get. I'm gonna get the monk who set himself on fire, self-immolated, the original one.
Yeah, not the military
guy. Not that guy, but the original one. I'm gonna get that tattooed on me, which is kind of like seppuku.
Yeah,
It's,
suicide for a specific reason.
Yeah, honorable death rather than a dishonorable one or a dishonorable living. Even it's like
and choosing your own time to go on top of it,
which
I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
I love the idea of you deciding when that time is for you. That's one of my biggest qualms with like Catholicism is that suicide is like one of the harshest sins.
I always said, wouldn't it be funny if the only way to get to heaven was kill yourself?
Yeah. Well, like, Catholicism, when you ask them like the generic question of like, well, if God's good, why bad things happen? Why do people get murdered? And they always go, well, God gave us free will. Okay, well then why is suicide one of the worst sins? To me, that is the ultimate expression of free will.
You have free will, kind
suicide.
of. You have free will, unless you want to worship
but I'm
a
saying
false
then
god.
why is, if
unless
God
you want to
gave
kill
us the
yourself,
free
unless you want to,
will,
they got a whole list of shit you can't do.
Yeah,
So
fuck your neighbor.
Right.
Don't do that.
Yeah, which is crazy. What if your neighbor's hot as hell?
Yeah. Who cares?
Just saying,
Dude,
consensual
they say don't
adults.
covet your neighbor's things. Like, I'm pretty sure that's on there.
That's one of them.
Yeah. Don't envy your, like, really? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like envy is like a form of motivation.
I don't even think rape's on the list, is it?
Rape is not on the list.
Rape's not on the list, but you can't see your neighbor have a motorcycle and be like, I want that motorcycle.
Well, back then, women were property still, so it wasn't really rape. It was just you plowing your property like you do for the seeds in the springtime.
Marital rape is a thing. I looked it up a long time ago. It's a weird thing.
Here,
Of course, it's a thing.
not in a lot of
But
other
still, like,
places.
What do you mean?
But like it is in the fact that you weren't like in the wrong.
Oh, okay. So thank you. Yes,
Sorry.
I just talked to someone about this. Okay, there is a giant group of men currently in 2025
Sure.
that believe that you cannot rape your wife.
I could
Like
could see that.
genuinely, like
Sure.
people that are normally level-headed in
Yeah,
other
yeah, yeah.
conversations and stuff. I've heard people say this sentiment. And not realize, like, I get it as a joke, right? If you're being like, you're playing a character
I've
or
used
something.
it as a
Right.
joke.
Yeah, that's what I'm
you know,
saying.
with the
Playing a
wife.
character
Always a
is
joke.
one thing, but to think that it like it comes with the certificate,
Right.
like
Yeah.
now this pussy literally belongs to me. It's not up to you. Like
Horrifying.
what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Even if
It's
you get
just-
at a mail order bride, that's still wrong. You know?
yeah. Human beings, no matter what the case is, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, if I was a slave owner, I'm just thinking of like the worst case scenario because you're like even a slave. Because like I'm not raping my slaves. I'm gonna try to fuck them real bad, right? But if they say I'm gonna still, no means no. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know why I'm
Thomas
a
Jefferson.
slave owner. I guess mail order bride's kind of like having an indentured servant in a way.
All
A
of-
little bit, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just
You know?
appreciative that we waited till
40
40-some minutes in.
Slavery and rape
you
talk.
know, it's hard. It's jarring in the beginning. It's jarring. We need to work them into it.
Work them into the rape.
Okay.
I agree.
Now we're good.
Yeah. That's not bad then.
So you had some questions about my most recent experience with the devil.
Yeah, so
If you haven't checked it out, last episode I talk about my Bufo experience. It was a
second
wonderful time.
Bufo experience.
Second Bufo experience. It was a wonderful time. Check it out. It's called Smoking Bufo or Smoking Toad Venom. It's episode something or other. Go check it out. Subscribe, like.
54, baby.
54, baby.
Yeah. So one of the first things you mentioned, the glitch situation, and I'd like you to explain a little bit of that feeling, if there's visuals associated with the glitch. I sadly have never been fortunate enough to take DMT or 5-MeO DMT or ayahuasca.
Or you're lucky to have not.
It's one of those things that I've always wanted to try, but now I'm in a point in my life that I don't know if it's worth trying because of what I could lose having, 2 kids, a wife, a pretty good life and all. So I don't know if I'll ever get the chance to, which is why I also commented on that one that those are my favorite stories
How
from
do you think you would lose your wife and kids from
Well,
that?
just like if you go
Crazy?
there's people that you can have a schizophrenic break
Yeah,
or something.
for sure. And listen, here's the thing too. Like, I'd love to come on here and be like, I don't see that happening,
But
brother.
it happens.
And listen, and I could see it.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
I've seen it with. There's a buddy of mine that believes he was hacked and
Oh, yeah.
is I would consider extremely paranoid schizophrenic. At
Yeah,
this point.
absolutely.
So like
We've
I've
spoken
seen
about
it.
him on here a little before.
Yeah. So like it's not worth for me to have that experience with
Right.
the risk of losing everything that I love.
Right.
So that's why I love when I get to hear you tell your stories because in a way I kind of vicariously get to
Right.
live through
Yeah, here's
you.
this guy who has no one who loves him. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
The glitch is interesting. It's hard to talk about any visuals because they're not things that you see with your eyeballs. You know what I'm saying? Eyes open or closed, it's happening. And because I'm not using my visual field, I really can't describe what it's like. I can tell you that, like, it did feel like I saw something. Like, I was seeing it, feeling it. Basically, like, the seeing and the feeling were the same thing. But the glitch feels like my consciousness is stuck and there's no wavering. There's no wavering in what I'm seeing. There's no wavering in what I'm feeling. The pain doesn't even fluctuate.
It's just kind of like an abyss.
It's an abyss, but it doesn't it's all the pain in the world. You know what I mean? It's like an abyss makes it seem like it's lacking something, but it's like it's not an abyss. It's surface. It's like everything is one, and it feels eternal. And I hate saying that, but it feels like this never started and it will never end. There's no beginning and there's no end and there's no fluctuation, and this is it. Now, I am not trying to say that has anything to do with when we die. I have no idea, right? We want to do that. We talk about other dimensions. Immediately, us humans go like, I wonder what this means. Does this imply anything about how we got here or where we're going?
Yep.
I'm making all those terrible reaches and saying that I'm doing so out of fear. It's just what it felt like for me. It very well could have just been my fear I brought into the situation. I just know again, it's the most profound experience I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
It is the darkest experience I've ever had, the most painful, the most difficult. I don't feel better for having done it either, you know?
So you're still unpacking it all?
Oh, dude. I don't know if I could ever unpack it, you know? It's like a fucking magician hat where you just keep
keep pulling the towel out.
Yeah, man. It's like,
yeah, and you're sure you didn't go to California.
What do you mean?
The hellscape, you know? Maybe you were in the middle of the fucking fire.
Hellfire would have been a reprieve because it moves, it licks, it fluctuates. Like, this pain was just
static. Boom.
Yes, boom, ubiquitous with everything around me. It all was the same thing. It wasn't like I'm pain and this isn't. It was like pain. Just on my whole consciousness. There's no like, oh, it hurt my arms. It was like it hurt so, it was so agonizing and excruciating in ways way beyond pain, like physical pain.
Yeah.
It's the only way to describe it is hell, and even that I feel like does it an injustice because we think about hellfires and goblins and demons. It's like, dude, I don't know. I probably said this on the last one, but that guy, the guy said he saw his whole family dying over and over on D.M.T. Did I say this on the last one?
Yeah.
You said that you wish you would.
Yeah, exactly.
Have.
I was about to say now. It's like I just wish I would have seen my family doing anything. I wish I could have known the concept of a family. You know what I mean? There was no like. I wonder what my mom thinks right now. There's no my.
Yeah.
You're thinking. You know what you're thinking? It's like there's nothing else to think, bro.
Yeah, it sounds weird, but I would love to have an experience like that.
Well, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing too. I'm the type of motherfucker who's like looking for a standout experience, right?
Yeah,
I really am.
You got it.
I know. That's what's fucked up. It's like if I'd have went and just did the peyote and like had the, you know, that was good. You know, it felt good.
Speaking of peyote, sorry to cut you off.
No, please, somebody's got to.
Because like, you know, I texted you once you came home and you mentioned that your whole brain was mush and all that stuff, and at that point, I didn't, know about the bufo. I thought you were just doing peyote. So I replied back like, from what I've read, peyote's not that strong. And you were like, it wasn't the peyote.
Wasn't the peyote.
So the peyote, though, was that similar to psilocybin mushrooms? Or was it even less than that? Because what I've seen on it, not less.
Different.
Just different. Okay.
Mescaline is the active ingredient there.
Yeah. Just like the Amanita muscura mushroom.
That's mescaline as well?
Yeah,
I didn't know there were mescaline
that's
thing.
a mescaline
I've only had psilocybin mushrooms. But yeah, the mescaline, it's not that it was more mild than mushrooms. It was like slower to kick in, longer lasting. But there were waves of it where it was pretty intense tripping.
Visuals or more feeling?
Yeah, both. I mean, feeling.
Luckily,
visuals.
I've done plenty of mushrooms, so like I can kind of understand if you put it in that
like
world.
A ketamine feel and like that I was like almost numb a little bit. My body would be, and then I think I said this in the last one, but there would be no depth perception. It would be like when I was on the peyote, it would be like if I had my hand here. Mike and my hand are at the same distance in front of me.
That's interesting.
It was very interesting. Everything was flat. Yeah. Everything was 1D. You know what I'm saying? It was like...
I had a trip on Salvia that was like that kind of, where
Salvia
things were like...
bizarre.
Everything was like 2D, like a cartoon drawing type of world.
Salvia is nuts.
Yeah, I loved it the handful of times that I tried it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I had an out-of-body experience the one time, which is fun to talk about because like in my mind, I was... on a wagon in like the old West, riding through the desert, being chased by bandits. In reality, I was staring at brown window cover or whatever window drapes. But in my mind, I was gone. It was like 1857, and we were Wild West frontiering.
Yeah,
like
hard to explain.
Fully
that
transported,
shit, dude.
Yeah, and
it really
like,
is.
That one was a good time. So there was like 6 of us, and we'd had 2 people would do it at a time, and the 4 other people would watch to be, the safeguards or whatever.
Sitters, yeah.
And one of my buddies was like, hit it, and then he's like, I'm frozen. And the whole time he's moving, his arms, his legs, he's like, I can't fucking move. And we're like, bro, you are moving. He's like, I can't fucking move. And it was just one of the funniest things ever watching this guy scream that he couldn't move. the whole time he's moving his arms, his legs, his body.
You can see people too. If you guys want to look, you can watch people smoke salvia on the internet. You can watch people smoke bufo on the internet. All this stuff we're talking about, you can find on
Hamilton
a quick
Pharmacopoeia
YouTube.
is a fantastic show that iterates the scientific side and the usage of a lot
Yeah,
of
if you're
these products.
interested in psychedelics, genuinely interested, where do you find Hamilton Pharmacopoeia now, though?
I believe that's Amazon Prime.
Okay, so there's a show called Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia. It was this nerdy guy who was very in support of the psychedelic world and psychedelic renaissance. And
he does a lot of the drugs that
as an investigative journalist and a scientist and a smart motherfucker, he went around and tried to do a bunch of these psychedelics and went into different labs and like you said,
Venom. He does an episode on that.
Dude,
well, 2 episodes technically.
Yeah, he's doing love.
Yep. You got the opposite effect, which makes sense. I mean, for every love situation, there's got to be an opposite.
Sure, maybe it was the absence of love, and that's all it was.
The other thing, like going back to your hellscape, where you said that you felt this presence of another being, and whether good, bad, you weren't sure. Do you think that was God?
I wouldn't claim to even have an opinion on that.
No, you just
felt what's something. God, right? I mean, why not? It's some type of God. I mean, if not, I don't know what you mean by God. That's what I'm saying, right? It's like, do I think that they're the ones who created this simulation? Potentially. Are they just ones that are in that dimension, were created by somebody else? Potentially. Are they not even existent? Potentially. Yeah. I don't really claim to have a theory. That's the thing about it, too. It's like, that's what sucks so bad about it. It's like, because I had the experience, I can say, I know for a fact, and this is what's so fucked up, even the sentence is dumb. I know for a fact that there's something going on. As far as, like, more than we know. Like, and everyone knows that. But I mean, I can't claim to know if it's a different dimension, if it's a simulation, if it's a multiverse, right? Or some combination.
Or something more than this reality.
And for a fact, right? Yeah. And I can't give anyone any proof other than go break through on DMT.
Yeah.
Go break through on DMT.
Let's do it right here.
Go break through on DMT. Synthetic.
You'll get some views on the podcast.
I don't care what kind. That would be interesting.
I would do it. You get it, I'll do it on the podcast.
That
we'll
would
let the
be
whole world.
interesting.
It maybe be like an Ari Shaffir thing. I'll come back and I'll have like a whole other family in the other realm that I lived in.
How long does it last again?
Like 10 to 15 minutes.
I'll do it too. I mean, if we can do it, like, and it's like.
Well, on YouTube, you just have to put like, this is for educational purposes only, or we're not suggesting that you do it.
We can also just be like, we are acting.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah,
whatever.
It's all satire. Or do it right off camera and then lay down.
I think they'll know immediately what the fuck, depending on what comes out of our mouths.
Nothing. You're just going to sit there for 10 minutes and then come back to it.
Yeah, if you break through, you'll know. We'll know. I'll know.
We'll know.
And again, not everyone has that experience, but like, if you're on the fence about it, and this isn't me like gatekeeping, right? I just have talked to enough people and done it to where I've been in the waiting room. And I've done it to where I've broken through.
Yeah.
And there's no other way to word it other than you're breaking through. You're going through what you know as reality.
Yeah.
And it seems like either ascending or descending, or I don't know if it's even that linear. But
yeah. I've heard like people describe it as like, God's hand basically takes your consciousness and just chucks it into the middle of the universe, and you're gone. And that's why I'm excited. Like,
why would that be here? That's the thing, man. Why is that portal even accessible? Man. And then how many portals are there that we don't know about? You know what I'm saying, though? How many portals are there that we don't know about? Well, they found out by smoking this toad venom you can get transported to a different dimension. Imagine how many things we have no clue about, grinding up these seashells and snorting them.
Well, like the Amazon, how big it is. There's probably a million other plants in there that have some type of similar effect that
especially
we're never going to know because there's too much
chemistry,
of them.
It's an infinite amount of different combinations you can do.
Wait, that's like the changa that you talked about last time. So that is a smokable ayahuasca, but the plant has the MEO whatever inhibitor built into it.
I think it's not that it's built in. I think he's extracting that piece from another thing, It's like this wild, mad chemist shit he's doing out there. But changa is just basically it. It's DMT. It's a smokable DMT.
But
it seems to be
also
much
has
more mild.
The inhibitors into it.
I guess so.
Yeah, so supposedly it's less mild and lasts longer. Is the thing of it. But they also are all I want to say it's Johns Hopkins, but it might not be Johns Hopkins. They're doing studies now where they're dripping intravenously DMT.
Oh, yeah.
So people can spend
Longer time there.
Longer times in that DMT world in an attempt to like map it out.
Yeah, there was a documentary called The Spirit Molecule back in the day. I think Joe Rogan was a narrator or something, or like he was one of the people speaking on it. And they did that then. Intravenous DMT. You want to talk about some brave motherfuckers?
I'm surprised you haven't done it with all the shit you put in your veins.
IV DMT. Oh my God, bro. You might as well go ahead and put the straitjacket on me before I even do it, you know? I think that, I'm also apt to, like, the way my brain functions, I think I am, like, probably more apt to go crazy than somebody else. Not anyone. I'm just saying, like, the way I'm, because I've had some issues, I've been in the psych ward before. I mean, usually it's like...
You're a bit neurotic.
A little bit, yeah. I'm pretty heady, And so... I shouldn't even really be blasting my consciousness as hard as I am, and as you could argue. I don't like shoulds.
Yeah.
But it may be healthier not to, for sure. But like I said, I'm pretty good on that for a little while.
Yeah. For all hallucinogenics, or just the super strong ones?
DMT specifically is the one that shouldn't even be called a psychedelic. It should just be referred to as a portal.
So, like, if you were to, I don't know, maybe go camping in the spring, like mushrooms, would that be a thing potentially that you would do out there in the woods?
Mushrooms is always potentially a thing I'll do.
Okay.
Because
it's like a safe spot.
Yeah, as long as we're obviously somewhere where it's legal and all that.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But DMT, you couldn't pay me enough money
to do it right now.
To smoke DMT right now. If you guys are, even the smell of it, genuinely. It has a very distinct smell.
Chemical, I assume.
Yeah, but a distinct one. Not just like, this smells like chemical.
Kind of like how Molly tastes.
Yeah, it smells like DMT. Tastes like Molly.
There's sometimes where I think about like when I would do Molly and like getting it down and the flavor of it. I'll gag myself sometimes just thinking about it.
It's the saltiest salt you've ever had.
Dude, it's so bad.
It's chemical salt.
One other question though, back to the peyote. How much did you do weight-wise?
20 grams.
I thought so. Okay, because like what I've read, you need like a huge amount of like it's almost like a cereal bowl filled of the many parts of the cactus.
So it was ground up already.
Oh, it was ground. Okay.
So it was a powder.
Because you can buy them legally and just claim that you're a cactus collector.
Sure.
But they are one of the most expensive cactuses to collect.
Right.
Because
you can buy the
get
powder
one
legally.
Like the size of like a baseball takes like 40 years of growing that cactus.
Yeah. I started with 20 grams. She mixed it with cacao and honey into a drink.
Did it
that
taste
was
bad?
Very sandy. Okay. The cacao was pretty overpowering and bitter, as cacao is. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't good. Yeah. Definitely wasn't good.
Better than eating raw mushrooms?
I don't like either, but yes, I guess better than eating raw mushrooms because the cacao at least hides it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely very bitter as well. The whole drink. I did the 20 grams, and then about an hour and a half in, she offered me more, and I took more because I wasn't really feeling the 20 grams that heavy because it takes like a while to kick in. So then I eat the I don't know how much more she gave me. She made me a drink, and then I had more of it. And then when the ceremony ends, I'm still tripping my balls off,
Really?
And it's over because everyone else is done tripping, and it's like, now I just got to go back to my glamping and sit in my tent like tripping my balls off for 4 more hours. But yeah, it was quite the experience.
And that was your first time trying it, right?
Peyote?
Yeah.
Yes. And I liked mescaline. Yeah, I liked that. That was decent. That was good.
So what's next? San Pedro then? Since that's
San Pedro is basically the same shit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. San Pedro and peyote are basically the same. I'm just scratching stuff off the list. Ibogaine, Iboga.
Yeah, that's one that I want to try. I have a very addictive personality, and Ibogaine is very good from what I've read with quitting, certain addictive substances and whatnot. As simple as I smoke cigarettes all the time. I wouldn't be opposed to going to Mexico to do Ibogaine to give up my cigarette.
You should go to Africa and do it.
Africa over Mexico?
That's where it comes from.
Okay.
So I'm a proponent of that, Went to Peru for the ayahuasca.
So let's go to Africa next year.
Okay, well, listen, Ibogaine is one where you get hooked up to the machines. You know that, right?
No, but I don't care.
Yeah, me neither. I'm just saying it's because there's a medical danger with Ibogaine. You have to get hooked up, and there has to be a doctor in the room.
Okay.
You have to get fully nude. It's like an all guys thing or an all girls thing, depending. And you're just like, not like you're together with people, but and you just gotta. Because there was a lady in Mexico who had just done it. This lady from Hungary, Mata. Mata.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest ones now. Back to the Joe Rogan a week or two ago, he had the former governor of Texas.
Oh. I thought you were going to talk about those two guys that were talking about.
Yeah, that was the former governor of Texas and some doctor.
Gotcha.
But they really want to make it legal in Texas for
the vets.
Yeah, the vets. So hopefully
veterans
we get more and more of the allowance of these.
I think slowly
plant
but
medicines.
surely. Yeah.
My thing is as an adult, fuck you for telling me no, I can't try this or that.
Yeah.
You're gonna write me a prescription for Percocet, but you're not gonna let me eat a couple mushrooms legally. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah.
I just can't stand that.
Or God forbid you work at the government and you're not allowed to eat a gummy until you're 65 and retired.
It's so fucking stupid.
These people,
it's
just not fair to them.
No, and they're so afraid of losing their jobs too. So my wife's friends, they've got a camping group that they go camping, and we'll go with them. And I'm basically told I can't bring marijuana with me. It's legal in our state now. But they don't want it at their campsites in case the police show up and all these government workers at their wish would lose their jobs because I
have weed. That's just
and it's
to
the
live in
dumbest
fear
thing
like
ever.
that, man.
Yeah, you'd have to pay me $1 million a year if you want me to take that level of discretion.
Yeah,
because you're not controlling just my 40-hour work week at that point. You're controlling my entire life.
Yeah.
So pay me 24 hours a day. And then we can talk.
It's just funny how you can't eat a gummy on the weekend, but you can wake up still drunk from the night before and drive to work,
Get smashed, That's what I love. I have a bunch of cousins that are government workers. And for years growing up, they were so against me smoking weed or anyone smoking weed as they got shit-faced every Sunday at our barbecues.
Oh, yeah. The hypocrisy.
And then luckily it started to change probably about 8 years ago, because one of my cousins that was one of them started to indulge in marijuana a little bit and kind of I guess opened up their eyes that it's not this horrible fucking reefer madness
Here's
drug.
The thing about that too. Mike and I were talking to somebody recently and they had this shirt on that was a smiley face and it was melting. It was trippy looking.
Kind of like the J Balvin symbol.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
So he was saying he wore it to hang out with somewhere me and Mike were going, and he was like, yeah, I don't really get to wear this much. He's like, I can't wear it around kids. He works with kids and stuff, and it's I'm like, why? It's just it's a melty smiley face, and he's like, yeah, but if you've done drugs,
trippy.
It does say the word tripping at the top.
I didn't notice that.
I think it says trippy because I have the same shirt. I'm pretty sure.
Tripping, whatever. But. At the end of the day, I still think you should be able to wear it.
My point in the whole thing is he's I can't I have to present myself a certain way. I'm a dad. I'm doing this. I'm volunteering. I'm yada yada yada. And it's yeah, I get that, but it's frustrating because if more people like you did own it, it would undo the stigma a bit. Because most people, some people, I know. My stepdad kind of still thinks if you smoke weed or do any type of marijuana,
dope
you're a loser. Yeah, hippie.
You're a dope smoker.
Lazy hippie.
You're gonna lose your ambition.
It's but he's got friends, that smoke weed that just don't tell him. And it's well, if they were more open about it, he could see that. Oh,
it's not that bad.
It's actually everywhere.
Well, that was my dad, for years, because his best friend growing up, started smoking weed in the middle school and then through high school, and then he went off to worse things than that. And my dad just kind of always associated marijuana with the gateway drug and losing your ambition
Alcohol.
and going down that. Yeah, as he would drink a 30-pack on a fucking Friday. But I think once he saw because once I started smoking weed, I was wide open with my parents about it, and it took a little while for him to realize hey, my son's still getting straight A's in college as he smokes weed every day. Maybe it isn't.
That's what
so
I'm saying. That's
bad.
what helps destigmatize it is going hey, I'm not a piece of shit and I do this.
Yeah. And then I still remember the one time I had him. We were at a golf tournament, came back, and there was a dispensary on the way back, and I was like, Dad, we're gonna hit that so I can get a pre-roll for the ride home or whatnot. All you fucking dope smokers, you can't even go a whole hour without smoking, blah, blah, blah. So we're there, and this guy in a wheelchair, paraplegic, one of these guys, rolls on out of the weed, the dispensary. I'm like, Dad, you fucking bum over there, fucking dope smoker. He ain't doing nothing with his life. He just sits there in a chair all fucking day. And it was kind of Yeah, there is a medicinal purpose to it. Not that I say like every time I smoke it's for medicinal purposes.
Yeah.
But there are times where it is for me, like especially if I get nauseous. Dude, smoking weed helps me way more than any nausea medication ever has. You know, so there are things, and there's, you know, the people that have the seizures and all that too.
Yeah.
But,
And then there's also getting high, which again is also okay. It's like, look, and that's another way to like remove yourself from it, right? To be like, I do that thing that's not good, but it's for this good reason. Yeah. So it's also, and maybe that's the case, right? But it is also okay to go like, I like to get a little high.
Yeah.
I like to take a 5 milligram edible and go to the campfire.
Or go to sleep so I can sleep all fucking night.
It's just
my body doesn't hurt all night where I'm tossing and turning.
Yeah, man. It's interesting, the things that we're cool with and the things that we aren't.
Yep. I'm one of the proponents that every drug should be legal.
Me too.
You know, I think heroin, all of it should be legal.
As an adult, you can't tell me what I can put into my body.
That's what I agree with. Yeah. I'm very
my body,
libertarian.
my choice.
Yep.
If I want an abortion, I want an abortion. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fucking in graveyard's fun.
Yeah, fucking just seems to be fun.
Yeah, I did that.
Regardless of the circumstances. I was fucking at a playground one time.
Well, you know that could get you on the sex offenders list.
It was like 2:00 in the morning.
It can still get you on the sex offenders
even when there's no kids.
If you piss on that thing.
One of my dad's buddies was drunk, and across from the bar was a playground, and he pissed there. And a cop drove by, and he's on the sexual offenders list.
He's a pedophile. Listen, let me just go ahead and say this: anyone who accidentally got caught peeing and is now on a list is a pedophile. I am not buying it.
If you look at it, it was 11:55 at night. So there's no kids there at that hour.
I am not buying that shit.
But we talked about you can like get a fucking prostitute to like fly to you, and now technically you're a sex trafficker, which is also something that would be
or
put
a porn creator
on the list, right? So like, I don't know, dude. I'm not like. I agree with you in sentiment. Like, yeah, I'm going to have an extra hard look at you if you're on the list for sure. Like, I'm never going to take my eye off of you. But I also know that there are, like, weird mitigating circumstances that could make you
I just feel like most of the time, if there's like a story with it where it's like, actually, it's not what it looks like. Now, listen, I have
no. That's As soon as you say it's not what it's looked like, you're guilty. It's always what it looks like.
This is going to be exactly.
It's always what it looks like.
This is going to be exactly what it sounds and looks like. Yes. And now, listen, I have charges that feel like they aren't what they look like. Like I have unlawful use of a regulated firearm. Now, if I'm hiring someone and I see that, I don't know what it means, but I know it looks like criminal activity, right? Like, I don't know exactly what that
That's
even...
half my employees at work.
You know? And it's like...
You just see some of the rap sheets we get when people apply to Jeff Wax, dude.
Well,
it is
thank God
crazy.
People get hired for
But I've hired murderers before.
Yeah.
Basically, the things that I don't want when I'm looking for hiring is a pattern of thievery and pedophilia.
Yeah.
Those are the things. Anything else I can work with.
Yeah.
You know?
This one time I was getting high. So check this out. I was a heroin addict, right?
You?
Believe it or not.
I don't believe that.
I copped dope. I was with two friends, and we drive from Pasadena up to Baltimore, buy heroin. As a heroin addict, you don't wait till you get back home to do the heroin.
Of course not.
You're about to do the heroin as soon as you can, you know? So we pull over in some parking lot, do our heroin. We're IV users. All three of us do our heroin, inject. We leave Baltimore, which we live about 25 minutes away from. Drive all the way back from Baltimore to, I'm right in front of Sunset Elementary in Pasadena. And like 3 cop cars do like a felony takedown on me, bro. Like two of them are behind me.
You're driving.
I'm driving.
All right.
One of them like pulls in front. Dude, it was crazy. I swear to God, my initial thought was they got the wrong people. I swear to God.
You are high on heroin though.
I'm high, yeah. But I'm just getting wet. I mean, it's not like that was normal for me. Gotcha. If I wasn't high, I would have been more of an endangerment driving. You know what I mean? Sure. Because I'm like, yeah. So yeah, high was just like normal. So yeah, I'm driving on heroin, which again to me was just like existing, and these cops, like 3 cop car pull us over, and I'm like, I like get right out. I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, were you guys just getting high? And I'm like, yeah. I was just so confused by this.
I didn't kill anyone.
3 junk. We're not selling the heroin.
Obviously, we got high.
Dude, we're 3 little junkies from the county, and somehow a retired cop saw us getting high, called his people in a different county, by the way, and had them pull us over in this county somehow.
What does that mean?
Wouldn't
they
be
saw
in
you
their
inject a
jurisdiction.
needle into another
I guess
person?
so. No.
What do you mean?
I guess they saw us, putting needles in ourselves.
Isn't it like Are you doing it like this? Like
No.
it's down, like
Yeah, probably right
I mean,
here.
if he was a former cop, he's probably seen enough of it.
dude.
Honestly, dude, if I see 3 people that are grown in a Toyota Camry in the middle of the day,
3
and
white people,
yeah,
in
that's what I'm saying. Where it's just
projects.
like, yeah, it's just funny.
Did you
to
inject
think back.
yourself, or did you have to have someone inject you?
The first time, someone else injects you 9 times out of 9.
Right, but so you got to the point where you did it
pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to have to rely on anybody.
So I'm back to the same thing, dude. It's like, how'd you see that? Or unless you guys were super,
If you see the spoon light fire,
sure, we've had people
just
pull
saying,
us over for like drying a blunt. Which, by the way, don't ever fucking dry your blunt. It's stupid. Anyway.
But so he saw something, but I just could not believe that they went through all that, And yeah, I mean that's basically the end of the story.
The cops are stupid with that stuff because
it's just like you're not trying to help me. You're not protecting or serving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my buddy had a needle in his waistband, and they take us out. They do a quick little shit pat down, set us down, and in handcuffs, my buddy takes the needle out and like digs it in the ground and tucks it and doesn't get caught with it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Happy to hear that.
I would shout him out, but I don't want to have to bleep his name. He still exists.
Yeah. I'm fortunate
not in prison,
enough,
not dead. Shout out to you, by the way.
I'm fortunate enough for all the drugs I've ever done. Not once, knock on some wood if we had some.
That table's wood.
Knock on wood, yeah, it is. Never had a run-in with the police.
Dude, here's the thing.
Anything.
Almost all my run-ins were like possession related, like almost all my shit, bro, had to do with me being a junkie.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I'm not running around raping and kicking in doors and doing these big heists, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get well.
Yeah.
I got a problem and I'm trying to get well.
I'm sick. I'm small and skinny and sad and sick.
Not small now.
Thank you.
Them legs might be, but
Nah, dude, my legs are good. They're small, but they're strong. Small but mighty.
No chicken legs.
Nah.
Not the thunder thighs like I got though.
No. It's hard for me to keep on weight, to be honest. But
lucky you.
yeah, I know. Everyone's like, "Oh, if I could give you some of mine, I would."
Yep. Yeah, weight's a pain in the ass.
dude, you guys sweating over there? Because like I only have this hoodie on because I went outside.
I'm not sweating.
Warm in here. Dude.
I feel
like,
good.
I was
Yeah,
in
I'm
my
not-
t-shirt.
Well, I walked
not
outside.
cold at all.
I walked outside the smoke, so I'm still trying to warm up a little bit from that. Like the bottom of my shoes are cold. I'm rocking these nice shoes for your show tonight.
There you go.
Nice fancy.
I'm rocking my nice steel toe boots for the show.
I'm sorry. Is that swoop backwards?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay.
Travis Scott's.
Okay.
All of his.
That's
have
definitely
the
a
backwards
person
swoop.
with 2 first names.
That's what makes him, worth more money. Is
music
switch his
guy, I
back-
assume.
Yeah, I think he's a rapper technically.
I think. I don't know what he is, so like I don't know.
I think he's a rapper, right? Travis Scott,
Yeah.
rapper, more than like hip hop.
He's black.
Yeah, he is black.
So, yeah, he's a
What's
rapper.
the big song? Is there? Would I know it?
I am.
If you heard some of his shit, you would, but I couldn't even tell you the names of them. He's big though. He's huge. Like especially his live. It's where they got trampled them people.
Yeah,
The Travis Scott
eight
show.
people, and you had to walk through his mouth, and they were like, "It's a demonic ritual. He's sacrificing the blood of virgins."
He had a festival where you walk through his mouth to get to the show.
Yeah, it was like like the picture, like
Pretty
of the
bad.
old
Like he does
circuses
really
where you
big live performances.
I
They're
gotta respect that.
No,
a little
for
bit.
real.
Like, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah,
but
I know it more
That's
from
the thing. His
shoe game than
and his
from
performance
music.
and shit more than his even songs. Like he's like a piece of art. Like everything he does is artsy. Not to glaze him, not to suck this guy's dick, but
Yeah, do it a little bit. it's
Yeah.
fine.
He's a cool artist.
If I could walk through the mouth, like if every door was a mouth, I want
Yeah,
door,
I know
more
like,
doors
he
should be mouths.
designs like all of his own merchandise and stuff, and he makes some really cool shirts and shit. But like a Travis Scott T-shir's $150,
That's
$250
stupid.
bucks.
Okay, well.
So like that's like his shoes are fucking ridiculous on the aftermarket. Like if you hit them in retail, like these ones right here, you hit them in retail, they're $125. Right now, this shoe brand new, in my size is going for $1,800.
That's insane.
Oh wait, so the outer check is backwards. The
I was
inner
gonna
check
say the
is
one I'm
right.
looking at's good.
Okay, I was gonna say that actually look good.
Yeah, and
Weird.
I've got a bunch of his shoes. They're like my favorite because they're also kind of like cloudy. Like people will recognize them right off the jump because the swoosh is backwards.
Oh, clouty. I thought you were saying cloudy.
Yeah, no,
I
clout,
thought he said that
clout-ish.
shit.
Yeah.
I was
You
just
know,
like,
it's
I
all
don't know
about-
what you say.
I'm a hype beast.
Right.
Basically.
I like the
That's why I
black,
like wearing that. I
white,
got my
gray,
Louis Vuitton
and
shit I
red.
wear.
Street cred goes right up.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta say, I don't love the backwards check. It's just, it does
The
draw
cool
your
thing
eye
is-
to it.
And that's what I like about it is he's the first person to ever do the backwards check on a Nike shoe.
My
So
thing, though,
and it's
like-
kind of like his stamp now.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
And I love my sneakers. I've got last time I counted, I had 32 pair of sneakers.
That's crazy.
Yeah, all in boxes still. I keep a lot of the boxes in case I want to
keep going. You'll have ones for every week of the year.
Well, like I like them, to have one for every outfit that I wear.
How many outfits do you actually wear? Would you like
a fair amount? Just because I'm always buying button downs and stuff because of work purposes, and button down jeans is what I go out to when I go to like a decent restaurant. Shout out to Justin for teaching me about Marta.
If
one
you guys
of the best restaurants in Baltimore.
If you guys have not been to Marta, like Sparta, like this is Sparta, but with an M. It's one of the best restaurants in Baltimore. It's a small little restaurant. It's called Marta Fine Food and Spirits.
Yep. My recommendation, instead of getting the reserve for the table, which was fine, the bar had seats open all night long. It opens at 5.
Spot.
So I would suggest getting there at 5 and going to the bar.
They have like a lunch thing and they close and they open again.
What kind of food are we talking?
It's called like classic,
American,
but like American.
but they have a fucking it feels like they spent all day prepping your plate.
Oh,
it's fantastic.
Like you can get, they have a ziti bolognese or whatever, which is just like ziti, like a pasta.
I hear Marta. I think like Hispanic type.
No, it's not that. They have this ziti that, like, to me, like, what is ziti even doing at a fancy restaurant, right?
But then you eat homemade pasta.
But then when you eat one piece of the pasta, one of the noodles, you go like, that's the best one noodle I've ever eaten.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you could make a noodle so perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's like I'm exaggerating a bit, but like the cocktails, the food,
everything.
the bread,
and for my cocktails, so
guys,
I basically
go to Marta. Take your woman to Marta, for fuck's sake.
On the cocktail menu sounded good, so I basically told our waiter, get with the bartender, show her what I'm ordering.
The waiters are great. The staff's great.
And then pair every course for me with a different one of these cocktails. So I'd get, like, the appetizer would come out, and they'd bring the cocktail that the bartender was good with. This appetizer and
so a little pairing.
Yeah, pretty much. I had the steak with the foie gras on top of it, and the foie was.
Is that even legal here?
It is legal now. It wasn't up until like 2011.
Really?
Now it's legal.
They had illegal duck liver?
Well, it was illegal. It's supposed to be baby duck liver.
Yeah, and they like engorge it or something.
Yeah. But it is.
You can taste the sadness.
The best tasting,
most decadent, rich
piece of meat I have ever had. And like bone marrow is semi close because bone marrow is very good like that too. But it does not touch foie gras.
Yeah.
And to have it on top of the steak.
That's when I tried. I had that entree as well once. I've been a few times. I'm not a big foie gras person. I barely know how to say this shit. I'm swine.
Yeah.
So, but dude.
It's fucking amazing. I've been into it and now it's just like
my palate's shit too. My palate's shit, right? I'm not like this. You're a way bigger foodie than me. So when I told you to go hit it up and you liked it, I knew it was good. Well, I already knew it was good because Destiny put me on and she's a foodie. But like, I'm just saying you don't need to be a foodie to go and enjoy this place.
Yep.
Marta is so fucking good. I hope it never
and I
closes.
Thought it was reasonably priced for the quality of food too.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to be higher than your Texas Roadhouses and stuff, but the food is that much better that
it's worth it.
Yeah,
it genuinely is worth the price.
Yep.
And now you got to hit a Mora.
Yes, I do. That's going to be more for the wife. I'm not the biggest Mediterranean food guy, but she loves Mediterranean food.
Dude, they have
we will try it here.
They have this hummus.
And we both like hummus.
Dude, they have this hummus in the center of it is braised short rib. That tastes like they cooked for 72 days. Dude, just the spice level
meats.
And the depth in the spices in the short rib and just a hummus, it's unbelievable. You get a piece of that short rib and you're like, this is crazy.
Yeah. If next time you go to Ocean City, you got to go to Spain Wine Bar. Maybe what just said she's the foodie. He's
a foodie.
Yeah. They have one.
Bleep all the names.
God damn it!
So good, but their menu
or just interject guy names. Steve and Mark and whatever the fuck.
Yeah, they're I forget the name of like. All they do are like the small size plates.
Yeah.
Topless. That's what it's called. It's a topless restaurant.
Topless, I thought you said.
Yeah, topless.
It'd be nice if it was topless.
Which is awesome.
I wish every restaurant was topless.
Yeah, if you could eat a fair amount, it's nice because like you'll get. Me and my wife go and we'll get like 2 things, and when they hit the table, we'll order the next 2, and repeat that process until we're full.
Small plates,
and you get to try a bunch of different food, But their hummus is the best I've ever had in my life.
That's
So
a high
good.
praise.
Yeah, Spain Wine Bar in Ocean City is one of the top 3 restaurants in Ocean City. Top 3 are that, The Hobbit, and one Coastal.
I've never
Hands
been to any
down.
of them. I don't go
Hands
to Ocean
down.
City much, but I need to.
Yeah,
I need
we
to
go
back.
a lot.
I need
I
to
might
go
be
back,
going
check
next
it
month
out.
for my birthday. I just got to find babysitters.
How old are you gonna be?
I'm gonna be 35 this year.
Wow,
I know.
it's old.
Yeah, that's like half my life. I mean, growing up, I always, this sounds pretty morbid, but my bucket list, the last item on it is suicide at age 44. So
Why 44?
I don't know, it just felt like a good age when I was making my bucket list.
Now that you're 35, you're like, that's pretty close.
It is pretty close, and I don't think I'm gonna execute that one.
I told my mom one time, I said, I think everyone should be taken out and back and shot in the head at 65. She's like, 65?
Yeah, I'm like 63.
yeah.
You know, like-
I'm like, how old are you, Mom? She's like, 63. I'm like, actually make it 63.
Yeah. But yeah, that was always like the game plan. You know, that literally I have a written out bucket list, and the last item, suicide at 44. The item before that was murder. So I don't think I'm gonna do those 2 on my bucket list now. But
Can I throw in a recommendation? So instead of 44, do 54. You remember, the 27 Club? All the cool. Oh, really? You don't know about this? So there's like a lot of these like really cool.
A lot of people end up checking out at 27.
A lot of people die at 27 that are
is
just
that,
like.
what about Juice WRLD? Is he 27?
I'll have to look into that.
Because there's a
Kurt
conspiracy
Cobain.
that
It
I
was
love.
back then. It was like started with Cobain and shit, right?
Basically, my point was going to be
That's one of my favorite conspiracies.
54. It's double 27 because you're probably half as cool as the coolest people on Earth, at least. We all are. Probably more than that. I don't know, and it gives you a couple more years.
Yeah. It gives you a little bit more time.
Yeah, because I think Juice WRLD was knocked off by his record label.
I know.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh no, he died of the Percocets and the Xanax on the flight. And I'm like, no, his fucking manager knocked him off while he had all those albums. He's 3 posthumous albums, or however say that.
Posthumous.
He was only 21. Yeah, but you gotta understand,
21?
Like,
what a baby.
Yeah, you know what?
God, that's heartbreaking.
I'm not gonna bring it up.
Watch the video of him on the plane, an hour before he
I
dies, and when he's nodding out, taking the lines of Percocets. It is sad, but like his album "Legends Never Die" is probably my favorite rap album of all time. Even I got my son EJ.
Gotta be Get Rich or Die Trying or Marshall Mathers LP.
So I'm not a rap guy.
Yeah,
so
before your interest in it.
Over those 2.
I don't have much depth in that field, but dude, even EJ loves Juice WRLD. Like I try to get him to listen to metal with me when I do bath time. I want music playing because it just makes bath time go better.
How about when you have sex? Music? Not with the kid.
I have not had sex with music.
Ever?
I don't think. No.
That's so intriguing, Mike. I know you don't have sex, but if you were to,
listen,
if you were to have sex,
the problem is for me.
He has headphones in. I don't know if he likes my music. He's got a podcast.
I'm more like feelings and emotion, right? So like if I'm like getting into the mood and like getting a girl into the mood, like to stop what I'm doing to put on something, I would have had to put it on previous.
I get that
to what I was doing.
I get that so much.
You need like a little clap system or something. So
sure.
I also
that could be cool.
I also think that like if you're having the good sex, right? The good sex, there's a presence there that includes a momentum, right?
Mm-hmm.
That like, and I've said this before, like we can put music on, but if I even am hearing the music, there's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I'll
100%.
put music on and be in something sexual, and then when we get done, I'll hear the music.
Honestly,
It's
dude,
like because I'm in
there
it.
it is.
Yeah. I'll be like, oh, I couldn't tell you
You're
one
living
song.
in the moment
I
like you
couldn't tell
should
one
be
song
during
that
that
played.
point.
Exactly.
When
It would
there's
be
a
like
woman
this.
that's willing to give me sex, I am full in.
You have
it's
my
my wife
attention.
right now. Only the
Sure,
wife.
she's tied up. Sure,
Yeah.
she can't say no.
You're hanging out with friends, right? Talking.
Doubtful.
There's
Okay.
music in the background. Like the point of the thing is the conversation we're having. It's like if we had music right now.
Mike C
playing,
complains so much
What
of
are we doing
music
that
when
for?
we go
What are
camping
we doing
because
that for?
people put it up so loud. I agree with Mike
it's
C
not
on this
about
one.
camping. It's about when we're hanging out in someone's fucking basement or some shit, or we're at a bar and we're like, it's a talking
the
bar.
bar
it's
is the
clearly
worst.
a talking bar. Like no one dances here. Why is the music so fucking
Why
loud?
does this
I
place
agree.
exist?
Well,
Because
No,
like you're
no,
no, because like
no.
you're saying,
It's here
those are the
to
bars.
converse.
Dude, that's such a Pasadena thing. Where
Like you go to
it's-
Alibis.
I go to
there's-
your bar, dude. Mag at the end, they'll have the music up when they when they're like
It's not my bar.
Well, it's close enough. When they're donating to that stupid fucking little, jukebox or whatever the fuck, dude, like as soon as they start that shit,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, it's
No.
just like,
Listen,
no one's dancing.
I know.
Ever.
I dislike it. I'm a talker. So I hate the idea of going to the bar and just like yelling at the people right next to me and then just like looking at everyone.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to fight or fuck? You know, everyone's like scanning the room for like love or hate. And it's just like, you can feel the energy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know. And the older I get, the more I do feel the energy. And I'm not opposed to feeling some fucked up energy, but I do feel it. I can't walk into a little shit bar where it's like, not even just a little shit bar, a bar that's known for all the drama, you know, and known for all the young. It's just like, you feel it. You go in there and you just feel it. And it's like, this ain't where I need to be.
Yep. Yeah, there's been plenty of times I've walked in the bars dressed more nice than what that bar's average person, and like you walk in and like everyone kind of like looks at you like, you know, they've got their
You're
like
in the wrong part of town, bro.
yeah, kind of thing, and like, you know, my best friend's black, so typically
Whoa, quit bragging.
yeah,
Flex.
you're jealous.
I know one. I swear.
Know? And you'll take, you know, we'll go out and like, then I'm wondering, like, are they looking at me because I'm dressed up nice, or is it the fact that I have a black guy here with me?
Well, that's another interesting thing about white and black. It's like, how many times have you walked into a room and been the only white guy?
Probably never.
So seldomly.
Very rare.
So seldomly.
Yeah, there's probably been a couple.
And so like Najee's talked about that with me before, where it's like, it might not even be mean or nefarious, but you feel it, right? You walk in and you're the only black guy, and it's just like, I never had to think about that. Just like I've never thought about having to be raped, right? And then you put your foot on, you know, your shoe on the other foot of the other person, and you're like, damn, I don't know what that would be like.
I don't think that you could be raped.
Me?
Yeah.
Because I'm willing? Because I'm so willing?
Exactly.
No, see,
you're always so willing. So
let me go ahead. Thank
really...
you for saying that. Because I would like to say something. Just because I'm a slut does not mean I'll fuck anybody, right? I'm actually still picky.
You have some standards.
Yes, and now they're weird, and they're not linear, you know?
Yeah.
But I promise you
You gotta have 2 legs, 2 arms.
I was going to say, like, it's
one dick, no matter what gender you are.
Basically, both genders, like...
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I have actually had someone propose sex with me after the whole scandal that came out or whatever, without getting too into it, right?
Yep.
There was something, you know, completely consensual adults, you know, people diving into my sex life publicly, whatever. This person had heard about that stuff, and this person's married, okay? I don't know the male. The female says to me, you know, I'd really like to have sex. Yeah. And I'm like, absolutely not. And she's like, you have standards all of a sudden? Yeah. And I'm like, you got it so misconstrued, you know? And I get how you could, because you're only hearing this one side, right?
Yep.
But it's like, there's no moral qualms with paying an escort for sex, you know what I mean? Or like 2 consensual adults having sex. There's no, and now granted, I didn't sign up for the monogamous relationship.
Yes.
I didn't sign up for the marriage. So I get guys or women who go like, that ain't nothing to do with me. That has to do with them. Mm-hmm. Sure. I'm not saying I'll never, ever do it. I'm not saying I've never done it. What I'm just saying is it don't sit right with me.
Yeah.
I don't want to do things that I lay in bed and don't feel right. And I try not to do that. Like, I try to live consciously congruent, which is when if I do something that don't feel right, I try to not continue doing that too much.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Pretty simple.
You're still a slut, but...
Yeah, well, look, I feel like I'm not going to be hot forever. Like, this is how I feel. I feel like, you know, you're only going to be young and hot for so long. I'm not, and here's another thing.
Good sex don't always have to go 1-on-1.
I agree, 100%.
So,
no, I agree 100%.
And the other part is the older you get, the older the girls are going to get.
It's easier to be slutty if you're hot.
Yes.
Just saying, it's easier to be.
I've never been hot, so I wouldn't know.
At 15, you got it at 50, baby.
Make sure you show Mike's face when he says that, and take the cameras off
Dog,
of us.
Look at my face. Come on. I look good. I look good for 36.
Oh, it had nothing to do with it. It wasn't a shot at your looks, guy. I was just making sure people are knowing you're making the statement about the 15.
Look, if you got it at 50, like I'm saying, I had it at 50. I'm gonna have it 50. I'm sure of it. I got it now. Why wouldn't I?
Oh, at 50.
Yeah. If I have it at 15, if I had it at 15,
gotcha.
I'll have it at 50.
Sure, sure. Well, you're a guy, so you're better off. You know, a lot of women look like
shit. Well, listen, that's their problem.
They do go down.
But here's the thing, too. I want to say one more thing.
Emotions age you.
100 more things about the slut thing. I like connected sex. Right? Yeah. I like intimacy. I like being so intimate that we can be that present, right? Where I can't hear the music. I like letting the spirit of Eros flow. I hate to talk about sex that much because it's weird to hear any guy just talk about sex, but surface level sex is fine. a quick meet and fuck you in the bathroom somewhere, that's fine.
Gets the job done.
Yes, but I would much prefer the divine, fucking transcendent. It feels like your orgasm shooting out of your ears orgasm, you know? But I feel like a lot of bad publicity from the slut thing comes from people thinking that all of your connections are shallow.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So it's like, if you can be open sexually, because let's not even use the word slut because it's so shamed, because a lot of people equate that with infidelity, right? Or betrayal. And it's like, you can be an ethical slut. There's a book written called, I think, The Ethical Slut. And it's like, you can be open sexually and not be doing anyone dirty. And actually, I think that people who are open that way are usually like more apt to be tested for STDs or STIs or whatever, or more apt to, I don't know. I just feel like if I were pushing away love at the expense of short-term pleasure, that would be an issue.
Yeah.
But I have so much love in my life, you know? And I'm happy about that. Like, I really do.
Yeah. I mean, I get it because, like, you know, back in the day where, you know, single and all that, I would still prefer, like, hooking up with people that I
care about,
knew, had a connection with, that were, like, friends versus just, like, the random one night stand that you would find at a bar.
You can't just get a random girl to wear your dad's cologne and call you a queer until you come.
Yeah.
You need to have like a baseline foundation of friendship, you know, to start putting the dad's cologne on.
It also makes it more comfortable for, at least for me, especially having, you know, body self-esteem issues and stuff like that, to do it with a friend or someone that at least knew me forever was just much easier and allowed it to be me more in the present when it was happening.
It's like, sure, my dick is 4 inches, but my personality makes it 5.
Correct.
Right.
You know, I don't know how you knew my dick size without ever seeing it, but
we're playing for the cameras. Okay, you've never seen it. Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, no, I get it, dude. What time are we at? How long have we been running?
This camera says 1:33:18.
All right, we did it, dude.
That works for me. Another
beautiful podcast in the books for people to absolutely love. Thanks for coming on. I know you said you had some questions about the glitch and the experience I had. And I said I'd love to have you on to talk about it.
I just like being here anyway. You're a fun guy to hang out with.
It's nice to hang.
He's one of my boys, you know.
I'm funny 40% of the time, according to my niece.
40% of the time, which is almost half the time.
She'll learn. You know, it's probably closer to
like
probably
20,
closer to
60%. Yeah, 55, 60%. I think we can give you.
Comedians, like, it's like hit or miss, dude. So like come on. I mean, that's 50-50.
Well, that's like Joey Diaz. Like his stand-up, I fucking hate, but him telling stories on Joe Rogan podcast, I fucking love.
Yeah, I mean,
like those get me laughing so much more than his stand-up shit.
Yeah.
That's just
I prefer Theo Vaughn on podcasts over stand-up.
Me too. Same.
The off the cuff, off the hit. Certain jokes like that are just better.
Yeah, they just hit harder, you know.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on, dude. I'm gonna pack for this main trip. I just gotta pack a bunch of warm stuff. I tried on all my Under Armour stuff, you know, because I had to get new shit because it's been a while. And to see if it fit, and it was just all the Under Armour stuff, including the shiesty. I'm like, dude, I want to rob something. Like, just putting this stuff on made me want to go do crime, you know?
Yeah, well, too bad you're not in California, because you'd have a bunch of places to loot right now.
Yeah, looting.
Yeah,
would be good.
It would be. I've already thought if I was in California, I would be looting the fuck out of those houses. Because you know what doesn't burn? Jewels. So every one of those houses in that Pallades neighborhood where all the rich people live, they got jewelry boxes.
Dude, I remember
the box probably burned, but you know it didn't. The fucking diamonds, the emeralds, the sapphire.
Burn to death trying to loot. I remember. Listen, in electrician school, when I went to electrician apprenticeship school, they were showing us pictures and videos of people who went to steal copper when it was live, and just got absolutely zapped to death, fried to death. They would just show us pictures. I got electrocuted
this past year at work, knocking me on my fucking ass.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty scary.
It's not a game. I just remember in the class they were showing people. They were showing someone fried to a crisp, literally barbecued, and then I just remember people in the class being like, "It's what they fucking get." You know, you want to steal, fuck them. And it's just like
mine wasn't even.
That was like the consensus too, Mike. That wasn't like one or two detractors. The consensus of the class was like, "Yeah, fuck them. They should burn to death." And I'm just like. I don't know, man. I understand, fuck around, find out. You want to play dumb games, win stupid prizes, yada, yada, yada. But guys, these are human beings.
I was at work doing my job when I got electrocuted in the middle of the night at a pretty large plant nearby. And it took them an hour and a half to get someone from their safety, environmental, and electrician department over to us. I did get a permanent badge to get in and out of the plant, so I don't have to walk to the guardhouse now. So it was kind of worth it.
There you go.
It did knock me on my ass and scared the shit out of me.
It'll wake you up.
Yeah, 220 volt.
Better than a cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah. It's 2 a.m, and I was wide awake for the rest of that night.
Mm. You know what I should get is some raw pay to do on here.
I would totally do that.
Listen.
That stuff you can get. It's not
regardless of whether you do that or don't do that, write that stupid fucking sketch.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care what you do.
Yeah, the Rob one. That's pretty funny.
I'll do it if you don't. And then I'll steal it from you.
I think it's probably a pretty common concept. Someone misunderstood the word.
Sure.
Yeah. It's not like it's super original.
I'll be an extra.
I agree. Huh?
I'll be an extra.
Nothing is original, Justin.
Yeah.
Remember that.
I know. That's like
the difference between people making millions and not is actually doing the thing that you come up with.
Yeah.
Probably 90% of the time, everyone has $1 million ideas. But they just have the idea. It's that 1 out of 100 person that actually does it that then becomes the millionaire. Yeah. You're like, well, how come that doesn't happen to me? Because you've had the ideas, buddy, but you've never taken that first step of doing it.
Did you listen to Rich's episode?
The last one?
Yeah. His brother. Did he talk about that on the cast? Is it the people with the
$1
million idea every day, but never have $1 in their pocket?
You know our buddy CJ.
Oh yeah.
His uncle Darren is one of those guys. He's got $100 million ideas, and he lives with his father still. Why don't you do one of your $1 million ideas, buddy? You've got them all the time.
To be fair, like he's doing his crab business that he was talking about for 20 years. I don't know the update. I need to get an update on it. I'm sure it's failed by now, but maybe.
But it also helps. Is it a horseshoe crab blood business? Or?
No, regular crabs. But honestly, we should put them on. Let them know.
Yeah, let them know what's going on.
Dude, having any of the Salyers on here would be funny. Darren or Chip. Chipper's got some crazy fucking stories, man.
That's true.
Here's the thing, though. Sometimes people will like say you need to have this person on and have a bunch of crazy stories, right? But they get on, and I can't just be like, "Hey, tell me some of your crazy stories." Well, it's hard to get it out of him.
So his nickname is Chip because he just talks. So he would be fantastic on a podcast. You would have to be like, hold on, let me ask you.
No, I'd just let him go. I'd let him go for an hour and a half and go, all right, Mike, call it.
Because he would go. He would not hold back. And it would be funny. CJ's dad's awesome. I love Coach Chip. I love Uncle Darren, too.
He's fun.
He's not my uncle, and I still call him Uncle Darren. That tells you something about the guy.
That's love. That's love.
Love them all.
Do you have a blunt?
I do not.
I got some joints in the truck if you want to grab. I can grab one.
Yeah, I'd love to smoke a joint.
Sure, I'll do that.
All right. Well, let's call this. Obviously, this is satirical.
You done recording?
It's illegal. It's legal here. You don't have to be satirical.
My dad's going to be pissed. If this doesn't work, I'll kill myself. Damn.